I knew I wanted to like make some sort of like rap, like we were kind of just like rapping, and then Quentin is a really talented musician, so he laid this track, and then everybody basically decided to rap in character as, you know, rap in character, sort of like a little bit of like an anthem for their own character in the movie. And so I basically had this idea of sort of like a P.T. Anderson like Warner, where we're like wandering through the club and the house, and everybody kind of like sings their own thing. And so we have a really great we have a really great thing at the end. It's like a post-credit sequence, like rap at the end. The best part that's not shown in the movie that maybe we'll release someday is Rick is the last rap. Richard Linklater is the last rap of the Cherokee Cha-Chow. But basically, Rick is losing it on all of us. Like the whole bit is that we're like on set, because all these guys just like absolutely loved each other. We were all best friends. We hung out at Rick's ranch and we rehearsed there, and we had the best time shooting this thing. So this is what we did all day on set. We were throwing the football, we were playing games, we were messing with each other, we were writing raps. It was just like the best time ever. And Rick at the end of this rap is in a Richard Linklater character that's supposedly an abusive director, which is the opposite of what Rick is losing it on all of us. And he says like, you know, if you guys spent as much time on this rap as you did our movie, we wouldn't be making such a piece of and just like lost it and kicked over a chair or whatever. And Rick was like, I don't think, no one knows if Rick's like a nice guy or a terror. He's like, I don't know if people are gonna be completely confused by this, but I assure you, Richard Linklater is the nicest man on the planet. But we should get that footage. It's really good.
Sports films in general, it's not really about the dramatics of like if they win or if they lose. Because if I want to watch a drama of a game, I'll watch a game. Like that's just much more exciting. It's not scripted. Whereas like with this, it's really kind of what sports does and like the world that it kind of just creates around people. So, you know, with ours, kind of it being the weird dynamics of like your teammates, but you also kind of root against each other sometimes because you're like you want them to do well enough that you win, but you don't want to lose a job.
Jimmy saw a rabbit like 5 minutes ago, so he's all fired up.
You didn't let him out? Go get that thing?
No, he wouldn't have done anything anyways. Just would have barked at it.
Would have barked at it.
Yeah, he's a baby.
You don't think he's a killer?
I mean, if it came down to it, maybe, but he's fat enough. He would not have to eat for a while, and he'd probably be fine.
Your coddling of him has allowed him to become slow and weak, is what you're saying?
Well, probably, but
similar to like how Rosalina in the beginning of Super Mario Galaxy maybe is weakened by her own children, the adoptive children, the star creatures. What are they? Lumas?
They're just stars, yeah.
Lumans. She gets captured because they distract her. So I guess in this analogy,
right,
maybe
I think it was more just like she was, protecting
you're
them.
Jimmy's child.
I think you lost me there. I'm his child?
Well, if in this case the hunter, the killer beast,
right, because I'm the one
has no you're the one who's brought him down to a different level where he can be captured by Bowser Jr.
I think Jimmy would probably disagree with this analogy personally.
Who wins, Jimmy or Bowser Jr.?
I mean, Bowser Jr.'s got this paintbrush. I don't think it's much competition, but Jimmy will put up a fight. Like a frog was kind of messing stuff up. Frog suit, or what was Toad wearing? Yeah, he was wearing
Frog
a penguin
Mario.
suit. Yeah, he was wearing a penguin one. So
Penguin Luigi.
and in the first one, Mario, he wore a cat suit and he defeated Donkey Kong. So lore dropping.
What about Tanuki Mario? A little raccoon
Yeah,
action.
yeah. Well, I mean, he could take him too, but I don't know if I ever played the Mario games where it was the Tanuki version. But at the end of this one, they have like the feather thingy. Like I played that one on the Game Boy where you can like fly and stuff. But it seems like it's basically the same powers. So I guess I'm just confused on that version.
I never played any Mario games growing up. I have kind of
wow.
a strange video game relationship as a whole, but I was not a Nintendo person when I did partake.
I just had a Game Boy, and we had like Yoshi's Island. I think we had Super Mario Bros. 2, or that was the one where you could fly. And I feel like they included a lot of villain lore from like earlier Mario games too. So I don't know. I feel like this movie's getting a lot of hate, I think clearly, and I'd say it's deserved in a lot of aspects. The writing itself, nothing to write home about, I would say at all in any aspect. But I don't think it's that bad. I think it's better than the first one, honestly. So if you hated the first one, I understand. But I feel like the Mario, nostalgia.
We're gonna be talking a lot of nostalgia today, Cody.
True. Just the world building, it is obvious what they're doing. Like, oh, they want to set up as many movies as they can. But at the same time, I was still entertained. So I don't know. I don't think like 40% on Rotten Tomatoes is warranted, to be honest. I think it's lower than that, honestly.
I do agree. I think it's better than the first one, but that's just because it has more going on and like some more interesting characters. And the first one has the issues of being so tied to them just going back to Brooklyn and defending their home for whatever reason. This movie, I think, does pivot away from some of the bad decisions they made in the first one. It is entirely set in this world. You just come in straight. Mario and Luigi are kind of continuing to do their thing, fucking with little miniature Bowser. And, then you go from there and you enter the Galaxy world. And like you said, they're trying to introduce new characters, create new spinoffs. There's a whole, obviously game universe that they can explore on screen. It's funny, it took so long for Nintendo to really allow their IP to kind of be seen in movies and to be become films like this. And now that they've seen the success of the dollar signs and both at the box office and I'm sure the greater Mario Happy Meals and the Mario bed sheets and they're almost doing like a Disney type thing with this the marketing of everything Nintendo here, and they're making a lot of money. It's very successful, and we're going to see more of them, no doubt.
Oh yeah. I mean, just the amount of characters they throw in. I mean, the obvious one, I feel like, Star Fox, it's not a spoiler, I don't think at this point either, but
they announced it essentially a week before the movie was going to come out. Hey, by the way,
they spoiled it for us, really, if anything. Yeah. But I thought that inclusion was good. And I mean, that is just such an obvious, like, oh, we want to throw this in to do a spinoff. But I feel like at least they did it decently. So I can't hate on it too much. And the thing is, too, I mean, to bounce off what you were saying, I feel like the model that they're trying to use, it is the Disney model. It's the MCU model. Like they're trying to build a universe like that. But the problem is they kind of just did like they did Iron Man 1 and then now they're just going straight to the Avengers. They're kind of doing the DC model where it's like I think you don't really need to do Galaxy second. Just because like obviously Galaxy is a game way down the line of all the Mario lore. And in the first one, like you said, I mean, the thing I do dislike about that movie a lot is, the majority of it is set in New York. Like that just pisses me off. It's a Minions Illumination movie in the first act of, oh, they're plumbers and oh, this Illumination dog is, causing trouble while they're trying to fix the pipes. Like I don't want to see that garbage. So I'm glad at least that was eliminated. Other than, I guess we haven't talked about Yoshi, but his backstory is basically he's also just from New York. Like he's just a dinosaur from New York.
Who knew?
Which is really stupid. But at least that was the only New York we got in this. But yeah, like I said, I mean, the fact that you jump it to, oh, now we're just going into outer space and, this whole big world. And, obviously just the waste of Rosalina in a sense in this movie is a bit disappointing from a Super Mario Galaxy fan like myself. But also at the same time, like they did include Super Mario Galaxy characters, that big ass bee queen, that's from the game if you didn't know. Really fun kind of level. Yeah, those weird like robots running around the entire time. Those are in the game. I love those, even though I would think normal people would probably be annoyed by them. The star babies, again, kind of a little bit annoying in here, but just part of the game. Even like the stars that like shoot them up into the sky. That's straight from the game too. So, and the music. I mean, the music is fucking great, I think, for both of these movies that they've made. So I think that is probably my favorite part of it. And that's what really pushes the nostalgia, I think, for me. It's just because like every 30 seconds they're playing a different, musical note that I recognize and I'm kind of humming along. So altogether it's made for fans. So I think that's why I enjoy it. But I mean, there's definitely, clearly flaws from a script standpoint and just a world building, standpoint, I think too.
We described GOAT is kind of TikTok cinema. This is maybe YouTube Shorts cinema. It's for a younger audience. It's bright, it's flashy, it's kind of a little sloppy. It moves a mile a minute, and like you said, it's a new musical cue every 30 seconds or a new plot beat. None of the fights are really that difficult. There is no serious conflict, even in the hey, we need to go save Rosalina. What what's going on with Peach, what's going on with Bowser. Like all that stuff just kind of feels so meh, you know, and it's more just a lot of bright lights kind of shining in your face for an hour and 40 minutes. Wish it was a little shorter. Like I feel like the first one was so breezy. This one has, 10 extra minutes on it. I like Yoshi. I thought, Donald Glover was fine providing the voice. Glen Powell was fun as Star Fox, the little sequence they did there. Like we said, Anya Taylor-Joy doesn't get a lot to do. And neither does Brie Larson as Rosalina.
Oh no. Yeah, no. I feel like, I mean, most of the characters, like even Mario and Luigi, I feel like are sidelined for a lot of this. It's no character moments, really. Like you said, it's just jumping back and forth to quick action sequences. There was a letterbox review that I really liked that said the only thing missing was Subway Surfer rolling on the side during it. So, like you said, I think it's
gotta have one eye on the Subway Surfer and one on Mario.
Exactly. That'd be the perfect viewing. But yeah, I mean, it is a kids movie.
It's much more geared towards a younger audience than something even like Hoppers.
Oh yeah.
There's less for, I think, adults in this. And it's also a thing of like, it's just for kids everywhere. It's global. It's the simplest thing. I said this about the first one. I don't know if we ever did like a podcast episode about it, but it's like this joke can be translated into every language. It is not something that's intricate or wordplay, or it's just like very simple character beats, action on screen. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think really I laughed at any of it. So it just skews very general, where this can be a global hit, and it is gonna be a global hit.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna make buku bucks, which we'll see if it ends up being a positive thing. Just kind of what's produced from this. I'd like to see like Star Fox crossover.
What do you think's next? Super Smash Bros. Movie, Mario Kart movie?
That's the thing. I don't think they will do Smash Bros anytime soon. That's kind of been, I feel like, what's been getting hyped up. But it's like Illumination, so I don't think they're gonna get into like a fighting style game, in this universe, or at least early on.
That really would be like them doing Secret Wars if they just jump straight to Smash. If we're
That's
using
true.
the MCU.
Well, yeah, if they do that, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you got to wait at least 10 movies to do that.
I think a good Mario Kart movie would be solid.
Yeah, and that was really put in the background of this movie too. That was one of my favorite things about the first one, was kind of just that inclusion. Obviously, Rainbow Road and just that big chase scene. But yeah, I would be down for that. Big Mario Kart fan myself, personally.
Fast and Furious, man.
True, and it's a proven franchise that you can run with. But at the same time, too, I feel like they're gonna go like, princesses movie. Like, I feel like they're gonna try to go the Disney animation route as well at the same time. Stick to that formula that's worked throughout history. But I would say too, like the movie maybe I would want to see most is the Bowser Jr. Bowser movie. I thought Bowser Jr. was actually a pretty fun inclusion. Mostly not because of Benny Safdie. I was dogging on his casting.
It's a transformational performance, though, wouldn't you say?
Not really. I feel like that's who he is as a person. Like, he should be 2 feet in real life, but he's actually 5'5" or whatever. But I thought his interactions with Bowser were fun, and I liked his paintbrush too. Like, I feel like that visually, I saw this in IMAX as well, so maybe that helped. But anytime he kind of started using that thing, and I mean, he's drawing anything he wants. Dragons. He gives himself like flame powers when he covers himself in it. It looks pretty sick. He's got this dope mask as well that kind of like gives off Prowler vibes, I feel like, a little bit. So I thought he was good. And I mean, talking about the writing, I feel like the only actual, like, maybe sliver of character development is like this conflict we feel in Bowser, which I didn't expect. Him kind of being boys with the Mario Bros a little bit. I love that dynamic.
Luigi in particular.
Yeah, him and Luigi are definitely boys. Even after what he did to him in the first movie, I mean, pulling mustache hairs, that's pretty tough. But I like Bowser Jr.'s kind of villainy role in that, of pulling his dad back to the dark side a little bit. Gave me a little bit of Star Wars vibes too.
Reverse Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I like that dynamic.
You're right. It's that, and then it's like stuff between Rosalina and Peach, which is like super half baked and like kind of thrown. Yeah,
like 5 minutes.
Not even really explained or addressed, like why we ended up there. I really don't think it's like that great, but they're going to make a bunch more. And even if the critical consensus is 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, like it's people are going out to see it, so they're just going to continue to kind of do half baked stories. You can't really compare it to Pixar, because they're actually, doing more. Even like a Despicable Me or a Minions, I feel like has more. At least the original Despicable Me run was based in more kind of like real story and like trying to, show character development. Whereas this is just how much money can we make? No Jack Black power ballad in this movie. I
True.
kind of need a refund at the very least if we're not
Yeah.
getting.
I was shocked they didn't give a song. Of course, there's musical moments.
Do you think he said no?
No, he would never say no to a song. I mean, did you watch him on SNL this week? Come on. It's like 10 songs. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's part of the reason he was cast for the first one too. Like he has a good Bowser voice, but I think that added element to it, made it perfect casting in the first one. So I don't know, like you're saying, the Rosalina stuff is disappointing as well. It's a movie you would think like automatically it'd pretty much pass the Bechdel test, but I don't even know if it does, which is crazy. But I think technically it does, but not really at the same time. I think maybe they can do like a reverse thing where it's like reverse storytelling where you're supposed to set up these characters first and then have them go on big journeys. And in this universe, it's kind of like they're thrown into big journeys in the first two movies, and then maybe we split off and do a lot of solo flicks. I think like a Luigi's Mansion.
I think there has been rumblings of the mansion to come.
I think that's a great idea for the next movie. And then yeah, doing something, Peach and Rosalina related. I think that would make buku bucks. Like you can kind of go any direction you really want, and you're probably not going to fail from a money perspective. So I do hope that they try to diversify some of the scripts because, like you said, I mean it's very basic, and that is I think 100% the reason that it's been critically panned. But at the same time, as a fan, I think for a movie like this, I can overlook the writing in some circumstances. So it is kind of pulling me from both sides, and I understand the hate, but I'm also going to go see the next one. So I'm a part of the problem, I think.
I think the best moments are anytime it tries to do things that feel directly from the video game, like mixing that in, whether it's like a different animation style, or literally just like obstacles appearing that it's like, oh, this feels like I'm playing the game while watching it. And there's a little bit of that in the first one. I remember there's like a great Peach sequence in particular, but this one really turns that stuff up in a great way.
Yeah, I agree completely. There's one scene where it's a Mario and Peach scene, and they kind of get stuck in a cavern made by the Bowsers. I think that might be my favorite scene in the movie, just because it feels like they are playing the game, which just kind of throws you back. And again, maybe nostalgia bait, but I think in that scenario, it actually is really done, very, very well. I mean, in the beginning, when it's just like Mario and Luigi, it feels like they're playing the Mario game at the beginning too, like going around and saving the Toads. That was one of my favorite parts.
You see the mini map, the way the levels are set up if you were playing Super Mario.
That could have been this whole second movie. And then the third one, you go to the galaxy. So I think, again, it's just kind of shrinking their storytelling to the point where there is no story and it's just kind of movement. So good ideas, but just needed expansion on a lot of stuff. This might be like the most things in one movie all year, honestly. It's got to be up there for just like characters and also just voice actors who are known playing these characters. They have like 2 lines each. So maybe they'll all get their own spin-offs, but just seems like a lot of money to spend when you could have, split it up in 3 of the different movies, and it probably would have been a lot better.
It's funny. You want it to be more stripped down. You want a character piece. You want maybe kind of an indie spin on it. We've got Glen Powell. We've got Jack Black. Why not Richard Linklater as the director of the next Super Mario film? That's kind of, it seems like the tilt you're angling for. He's done animation before. We can make it a rotoscope film. Who says no?
I mean, maybe Linklater, but if he doesn't, I don't think anybody will.
He obviously worked with Jack Black a few times. Glen Powell has now become his latest muse. Of course, Ethan Hawke, he's got all these collaborators, but Glen Powell is the true connective tissue between Super Mario Galaxy and the film we're talking about today. Hello, and welcome back to Kody and Korbin Have a Podcast, the show where 2 former roommates talk about everybody wants some. Exclamation point, exclamation point. Very critical, the 2 exclamation points. As always, I'm your host, Korbin Zvokel, and I'm joined by my co-host, Kody Webb. Kody, it's baseball season. It's in the air. You hear the crack of the bat. And we're talking another Linklater film, the 3rd one we've ever done on the podcast. So we're obviously big fans, and I think we're both fans of this movie as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been one that's been on the short list, I feel like, for a while, that I think probably both of us have thrown out ideas of doing it in the past. And like you said, I think timing wise, just with the season that we're in, I think April baseball It just has a very particular feeling that this movie definitely puts out. So I think the timing wise is perfect. And like you said, I mean, Linklater is a proven proven likable guy from Us. So I'm glad that we're doing another flick of his. I'm trying to recall too. I mean, we did School of Rock, obviously. Oh, and we did Dazed and Confused, obviously too. Yeah. I mean, I think that we've covered a lot of his really good stuff. So I think this should be a really fun episode.
It's unintentional this time, but you could kind of say this is our 420 episode. It's a little early. We obviously hit Dazed and Confused as a 420
True.
episode way back a few years ago. So this one's got those vibes, and it's that time of year as well. So it all kind of comes together.
It definitely fits as well for this movie. So shout out Wyatt Russell.
Shout out to Willoughby, the 30-year-old man. It is also funny because this movie is described, and maybe it's as a way to get the movie sold and marketed, and less so the actual way Linklater was thinking about it, but as a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused, as like a continuation of that. It's even set in 1980. It's the first weekend of college in 1980. If you take the main character of Dazed and Confused, who was a freshman in 1976, if you take Wiley Wiggins, you let him go through high school, this could be him showing up and playing college baseball. Obviously, when he makes Dazed and Confused, that's kind of only like 16 years from the time period. This is now like 30, 35 years looking back in 1980. But it is a movie that is so particular in the place and time, and particularly in the time period. It's the thing Linklater does so well, is he has this just like sense memory for the time in which he grew up, and he's able to emulate it in all of his movies, and the music and the clothes and just the overall vibes of the film. It's like you're there going to a new school, 1980, sitting down for the next 4 years of your life.
Yeah. I was gonna say off the bat too. I do love the fact that you can compare it to Days. Obviously, too, just with them both having like six soundtracks. Both of their plots are just like hangout movies. I think Linklater does hangout movies really, really well. And like you said too, I mean, the fact that it is kind of lined up of, in my head, it is Linklater kind of taking us into the past of, probably not his direct experiences, probably embellishing on a lot of
I
stuff.
mean, he was a college baseball player. It is a
Yeah.
little bit, it is some of his experiences.
And obviously, like just this premise of following, this college baseball team from Texas during the summer, and they're living in off-campus houses all together. Like that's a sick premise, and it's the weekend before classes. Like I feel like that alone is just such a perfect fit with Linklater's style, and comparing it to Dazed and Confused. But yeah, I do love just the year lineups as well. That is really funny. Of obviously Dazed and Confused set in 1976, and I like how too it's through the eyes of the freshmen. Like you're in there with them, learning the culture, learning all the bullshit that the guys are talking about. I think it's great, and along with that, like the cast is bonkers here. Because at the time too, I mean, it's basically just a bunch of unknowns. But I think every character is memorable. Every character, is weird and strange in their own ways, but also sometimes likable, sometimes very unlikable. And I think it's all in the writing and the casting. Obviously, I think we need to go through a lot of these guys, but I think Linklater nailed it in basically every technical category, and definitely the casting too.
Like you said, slice of life where you don't get done with it, and you have experienced some great journey or learned something new, but you have made a lot of new friends, and you've met these, each unique and lived in and really built out characters. A lot of that's from the Linklater writing, but it's also from, I think, each of these actors, like you said, really kind of taking the bull by the horns and leaning into who would these people be, whether it's Wyatt Russell, Glen Powell, or kind of the, even the more deeper cuts. It is really just a fun cast. And that's something Linklater does really well. It's in Dazed and Confused as well, where it's, guys who hadn't popped off yet, like Ben Affleck in their their early film roles, Matthew McConaughey, just people that were interesting, and you put them on screen, and then here you go, 10 years later, literally from when this movie came out, and a lot of these people are more household names. Some swing and misses with some people. We can probably address the Blake Jenner of it all off the front. It came out that he was emotionally, physically, mentally abusive to his wife at the time, Melissa Benoist. Obviously, that's awful. It's one of those things where like she came out and was like, yeah, I had this former partner, awful things they did to me. I was, locking myself in a room. She never called him out by name, but it was, clear they had been together for a really long time prior to that, gotten divorced. And then he came out with like a public apology, saying he was sorry for all those things. Really unfortunate that he is the lead of this film and, seemingly a bad person. Definitely treated his wife very, very poorly. And that's something that I dislike about this movie is that it is more character like it places you with a central character more than Dazed and Confused. It's tough. We're probably going to be comparing them a lot, but that movie is so much more about the ensemble. And obviously the ensemble is great here, but it's not just Wiley in Dazed and Confused. You spend a ton of time away from him. And whereas Blake Jenner's character is really the center of every frame of this film, it is very much only through his eyes as the incoming freshen, which, with him just being a shitty person kind of sucks and holds this movie back.
Yeah, his character, it's kind of the opposite of who he is in real life too. Like he comes off as this good guy in this movie. So like I said, I feel like after rewatch of knowing kind of what happens, obviously going forward, that definitely does take this movie down a little bit, like you said, just because of his inclusion throughout it as well. Like he really didn't do much after this. I watched recently The Edge of 17, which I rewatched it for the first time in a while, and I didn't even realize like he's the main, brother character in that too. So he kind of had a decent career going for him.
Was a Glee, TV star, had things going prior to this.
I never saw that, but he was probably good in it. But yeah, obviously not doing much these days. So that does, I think, bump it down a little bit just for me on that side of things, just because it is centered around him, like you said.
It does transition to an interesting conversation. Dan Solomon of Texas Monthly wrote the following, which I thought was interesting. The way Linklater gets around having to confront the misogyny or homophobia that was part of the world he decided to depict was basically to not have any gay people in it or to not give any women in the movie more than 5 minutes of screen time. He concludes, and since Linklater is the sort of director whose most recent work has been great because it's so concerned with reality, it's hard to not feel like this one is a big swing and miss. And in Dazed and Confused, that stuff is there. Like there is homophobia and misogyny. You have the awful thing that McConaughey's character says about, the thing I love about high school girls. And this movie is an interesting artifact of something that does kind of feel updated to 2016, where it kind of cuts out a lot of that stuff. And yes, these are the jocks, but they're like the good guy jocks. They say some, rough things. They cuss. Sure, there's plenty of stuff in this film, but it definitely does feel toned down from probably what the reality is. If he writes this movie when he writes Dazed and Confused, it probably does have a little bit different of a spin in the way some of these characters are approached, where most of these guys are very lovable. It's hard to not, kind of love all of them.
At least most of them.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's like, yeah, they do a little bit of hazing. Yes, they hit on the girls. It is a lot of good guys, which is an interesting, prospect, because in reality, probably not.
That's what I was gonna say. I think maybe the most unrealistic part of this movie is just how like they're literally friends with anybody. Like they can show up anywhere to any sort of party, and they literally do throughout this movie, and have a good time and relate with kind of everybody at the university. Which I feel like in real life, the baseball jocks. And again, this is a different era, so it is hard to compare.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe the 80s, man, it was a better time. We all could get along a little bit better.
Literally, I mean, I feel like maybe this movie is a throwback to that concept as well, because I feel like obviously today, everybody, and this is me included, is definitely just antisocial. So the fact that this was the college life back in the days of, I mean, the plot of this movie is just them drinking at bars, them going dancing, them going to country bars, them going to nerd theater parties. They go to a punk concert. Like they can literally fit in anywhere. And I think, like you said, they make themselves likable, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of that is on the shoulders of Glen Powell and his character of Finn. And also too, I think this is maybe Glen Powell's like best performance, low key. Just because like this guy, he is fun. He does just bullshit constantly 24/7. I mean, they just make up these random games. But Glenn, he gets to use his wit in this, which I feel like in all of his other roles, he's this action guy or he's this villain. In this, he's this sensitive, funny guy. Who, yeah, I mean, again, the movie is just them trying to get women for the majority of it. His character is so likable that you can see past his flaws. And I think a ton of that has to do with the actor. So I've definitely shit on Glenn in the past, but I do think maybe performance-wise, he's the best in the flick, which is saying a lot.
And this is early for him. This is really before he really starts to break it big. And Linklater
other
saw
than
something.
The Dark Knight Rises, but
right before he gets punched out by Bane or whatever at the stock market.
That's his introducing role. Yeah.
He was in Spy Kids 3D, of
Oh,
course,
right.
as
I
well.
never saw
So
that.
that's where
Shout out
he really
Spy
got
Kids.
his start.
We need to do that episode eventually too, actually.
Which
I've
one?
never seen
First
it.
one, second one,
Sure, I don't know.
trilogy.
Just go to
I think they
3D.
made a fourth one and for Netflix. Real Robert Rodriguez core. Um, they're okay. I'm more of a Shark Boy and Lava Girl kind of guy, but that's just me.
I don't like the title, so I don't know.
But do you like George Lopez?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. He's good in Blue Beetle.
Yeah, throw a crazy beard on him, and then you're interested. It is interesting that this movie did take so long for Linklater to come around to, with 30 years from his time period. But he talked about in interviews how he almost felt like he had demons from his high school time, or like things he needed to try and excise and get out and like really put to the page. So he made Dazed and Confused as, looking back, what did I go through in high school? That's an interesting film because it's the last day of school. So it's about the endings of things, but also about the beginning of things. Whereas he said for him, college was more like kind of a good time. And, he just kind of had a lot more easygoing life away from adults and the pressure. You get freedom. So there wasn't something he needed to get out. But it was, still percolating for a really long time. He came up with the initial idea to kind of do a college baseball look back story in the early 2000s, I think like 2002. Then in 2005, he like finally writes the first script. So this is kind of how this guy works, where it's like, it'll take years for an idea to percolate. Then he comes out with a script in 05, and it was the entire freshman year. So from the first day to the end as a college baseball player, it does all the tropes. It hits everything. And from that point, it was whittled down to, well, I could just literally make this the first weekend of college, which I think is a fun mirroring to Dazed and Confused, as well as, it's the beginning of something. It's the start of something new with the freshman year of college. And there's all these opportunities ahead of him. But then, even then from there, 2009, he's shopping the script around, not getting any love. Nobody's really that interested. Paramount, I think, technically has the rights to it. Then it's not, 7 years later that they're finally able to get the funding together. This is an Annapurna picture. They're the production company that really came in and provided a lot of the funding. Do you know who the head of that is? Who runs things? Annapurna Pictures?
Is it Annapurna?
No, it is Megan Ellison, the sister of David Ellison, current head of Paramount. So his sister was in the movie business long before him, really actually kind of creating some solid movies through the years. But she, similarly to David, got, a little hedge fund cash from Papa Larry and said, hey, you get to have a movie studio. It's in the last few years kind of dwindled down, and they haven't done as much work, but I think maybe there's a thought now with them literally owning Paramount, maybe she'll come back and do some more stuff. I will hit you with a couple Annapurnas that they've done. Zero Dark 30, The Master, Lawless, and Killing Them Softly was all their first year.
Some artsy stuff,
which we've done before.
Ooh, okay, that's great.
Sausage Party, 20th Century Women.
I actually love Sausage Party. Yeah, that's funny.
Detroit, which of course some more Catherine Bigelow love. Phantom Thread, some PT Anderson action.
A lot of PTA.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, some Coen brothers. If Beale Street Could Talk, Vice, Booksmart.
Oh wow.
A lot of women love stuff recently.
Yeah,
Hustlers, Bombshell, Night Bitch, The Testament of Ann Lee.
Wow.
And then this year we do have I Love Boosters and The Invite, which have got that Annapurna on the front. So
shout out. Actually, a lot better than I thought, considered who she's related to. So
well, that's the thing. She's the sister. She's got some sense. She's the Shiv of the family. Maybe
she's the Shiv.
if we're pulling things out, and we don't want Kendall at the head of the company.
Yeah, he's definitely Kendall, I feel like. That is a great analogy. But yeah, maybe I need a letterbox list of this studio, because a lot of bangers in there. So that's fun. Going back to what you said too about him trying to get it made, I feel like that makes sense of like originally it was a longer story, just because like the character depth early on, like I feel like it's set up for, like a TV show or something. Like the writing is that focused on the characters. So that makes a ton of sense. And yeah, to shorten it down to just like one weekend of booze, I think is a really fun idea. But also too, you mentioned, I mean, we haven't really talked about baseball at all in this movie yet. like that is kind of the background of it, but it's really not a massive part. Other than the team dynamic, which I do love that a lot. Also just getting all of these guys who are super competitive in one house. I think just the random games and bets that they make are actually pretty interesting. And like you really are just thrown into this world immediately just by the BS that these guys are constantly doing. I mean, the knuckle punching, the hacking baseballs in half with an axe. I want to bring up that pretty early on too. I think this guy,
Tyler Hecklin.
Hecklin.
I did actually look that up in advance
Okay.
how to hear it. He was on the Rich Eisen show. I watched an interview of him.
He's great.
But like former college baseball player. This guy played at Arizona State and UC Irvine. Like, Linklater, obviously, he comes from a college baseball background. There's a thing that happens with a lot of athletes turned actors where it's like, oh, I had this injury, so it's the thing that got me to stop playing, and then I started to do theater, or I picked up on acting. And for Hecklin, he was a child actor. He did Road to Perdition, that Tom Hanks movie, when he was like 13 years old.
Nice.
Worked with Paul Newman, Tom Hanks, but then he goes off and plays college baseball, and at one point he's like turning down movie roles because he's actively playing college baseball, hurts his hamstring, and then is like, okay, I think it's time for me to hang things up, before I continue on. And the guy who plays Jay Niles, his name is Justin Street. That guy was a former pro pitcher in I think like the A's organization. Glen Powell, an athlete. Wyatt Russell played hockey. It comes from a place of like understanding baseball and understanding what it means to just even be an athlete. It is funny because I think the baseball scene, the practice kind of looks bad. Like it's the way it's cut together. It looks like they're trying to pretend like these guys can't play baseball, but they can. Like it's a weird thing. It's like even the Jay Niles, like all of it is pitching from behind. I don't think Blake Jenner really had that in him like that. So maybe that's, some of the faking, but it's cut together in a strange way. Where the baseball scenes, I think, are kind of the weaker parts of this movie, but the culture of the baseball in the team is such a strength. So it lives up to where it's like these guys all do feel like baseball players, and you have the dynamics of pitchers and infielders and stuff like the Willoughby character and Wyatt Russell being, the outside older kind of grad transfer who maybe is even, older than that.
A little bit.
It feels super lived in.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of my favorite aspects of it is the like dynamic between the position players and the pitchers, because they are such separated groups, and just the way that Wyatt Russell and Blake Jenner are talking about that dynamic of pitchers kind of being like this necessary evil, and there's a lot of fun baseball analogies too. I feel like Jenner, when he's talking about his college essay, talking about whatever that Roman guy's name, or is that the right?
Sisyphus.
Is it Roman or is it Greek? Yeah, okay. That one Greek guy's name, Korbin said it's Sisyphus. Like his story and relating that to the baseball is super interesting. So you can kind of use that story to just thinking about life in general of, you have to do something to pass the time.
Great myth.
But if you're passionate about something, it kind of feels like you're actually doing something, even though you're just pushing up a boulder and doing nothing at all. So I did like just its commentary on baseball, and the team dynamic. But yeah, I thought the Hockland guy, I mean, he is kind of the leader of the team, in his performance and, behind the scenes as well, verbally. So I think it was just it was a visualization of a good leader for a team like this as well, because he's dealing with a bunch of psychos. I mean, that one guy, the one guy you mentioned, what's his name? Jay something?
Jay Niles.
Jay Niles, he's a psycho. And I mean, like we said, Wyatt Russell turns out, to be this transfer who lied, and he's actually 30 years old, but he just wants to keep playing baseball. Like he has that much passion for the game. And you have this crazy lefty who ends up working with Linklater a couple more times. Shout out to the actor Austin Emilio, who's in
Hitman.
Yeah, Hitman. He's in Hitman. He's got a good role in Hitman, I think, but he keeps using him, and I think like he's another just like crazy weirdo in this movie who commits to this role. And I think it's funny too, because they do save the baseball until near the end of the movie, I would say. So you don't really know kind of what these guys' roles are on the team. Some of them you look at them and you're like, how's this guy going to fit in? Like the other freshman is the catcher, and he's kind of this little short, stubby guy. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then you see the crazy lefty guy, and he's this submarine sidewinder out of the pen. You're like, okay, that makes sense. I wouldn't have guessed that, but that fits perfectly. So I think like adding the baseball dynamics late into the movie makes it really fun because you get to know who they are first, and then kind of figure out how baseball is a part of their lives. The other freshman too, who we haven't mentioned, Tanner Kalina, he did nothing else after this really. He
Brumley.
just yeah, Brumley, nice mustache on the kid. I can relate. But you really just see him being like this desperate freshman, just trying to relate to the team and fit in. But then you see his like athletic ability, and you're like, oh shit, like this kid, there's a reason here. So I did like all the sports dynamics along with just the personal relationships too.
And you talked about competition. Like that's especially in a sport like baseball, it's like everything you have to be competitive about off the field, on the field. You're even competing against your own team. Like you're fighting for your own spot when you're all playing together. Only one person can pitch at a time, the lineup is finite. So all these guys are always competing. And I love all the scenes, like you said, of competition, whether they're hitting each other's knuckles or playing pinball or ping pong or made up card games, whatever it may be. Like we talk about nostalgia. We didn't live in this time period, but we experienced college. And like, that's the kind of stuff that reminds me of college and us living together, of like all the competitions, all the different things. Like there's so much in this movie that is relatable. And that's just one of the many.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this movie it captures the college experience, I think, very well, and it does make it relatable. You don't have to have played baseball, to enjoy this movie. I don't think, which is super fun with its premise. And I mean, like you're saying too, some of my favorite scenes I want to shout out more of just them playing stupid games, like that bet of cutting the baseball in half. I think is a
Yeah.
really fun scene because that's pretty early on in the movie. And I think that sets up their relationship very well. Just the fact that this guy's a pure athlete as well. He has the pure strength to cut baseballs in half with an axe is crazy. And then he's got some dope quotes too. Like in that scene, he says, this is awesome. This is the best day of my life, until tomorrow rolls around. Just like the pure confidence and joy. And like you said, I mean, he's a former baseball player. I thought this guy was Billy Crudup, honestly, until this watch. So, and this guy, obviously, he went on to do like, the Super Show, the older Lois and Clark. So he had work after this, but I think he's great in this. The other scene too I wanted to shout out with him was when they are scrimmaging at the end, and him and the catcher are just chatting before he walks up, and he's like, "Don't talk to me, bro." And then he throws a strike down the middle, and the catcher's like scared to call a strike. He's like, "Is it 0-1? Was that a strike?" Like he doesn't want to piss him off. He's like, make it 0-2. And then he just ropes the next pitch for a double. So I think like just his dialogue specifically was a standout. The Finnegan character as well, like the games that they play, I think, especially on a rewatch, are pretty interesting. And it is pointed out by Blake Jenner's character that they kind of get branded as this fuckwithery. Basically, most of the movie, Glen Powell is just messing around with his other teammates. Like you said, they just make up card games for freshmen to make them drink. The fake scout in the outfield trying to get them locked in practice. The dumb thumb on the chest stuff, which is just, just stupid team stuff. But like just the constant bullshitting and the dialogue, I think from his character, it does bring the team together too. But you also see like everybody has a breaking point in this movie. Glen Powell, when he's at the theater girl and they were making fun of him for the astrology signs, like he kind of loses it. And yeah, Tyler Hoechlin's character, when he loses in ping pong, he kind of loses it. So it shows you the flaws along with the likable part of these characters. So it just makes them feel more real, which I think is just great writing.
Yeah, they all have a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a crazy side to them, like you said. All of them are psycho, not just the crazy pitcher. Baseball players are weird. They're a little bit out there. You gotta, when you're standing with yourself for half the game, you get in your head. You start thinking some crazy things, I'll say.
I mean, Wyatt Russell too. I feel like his stoner character, like he's just talking about crazy stuff as well. When we have specific scenes with him, I feel like the dialogue as well is just like it's him talking about music and the song. It keeps building and building and building. He loves that. And then it switches to him talking about language. Like, what even is language? It's just a stupid construct. And then they try telepathy. I do love his character. I think it's a fun joke on the first watch of it, that reveal of him being older. I don't know. I wish he was around for the whole movie personally, but it's a good gag, I guess. But I feel like on rewatch, it doesn't work as well as like the first time.
It is sad to see him go. It's funny. It's not taken from a real situation in Linklater's life, but it was like, there was a guy who was on their team, showed up, played a season, went like 8-2 on the mound, disappeared. No one ever saw him again. Nobody heard from him, could find him. So like all these years later, him and his buddies are like, I think like that guy was probably 30 years old and probably had a fake name and, was just going around and playing baseball everywhere. So it's like a made up story that they had for this guy that they knew. And then he puts that in the movie. All these characters are people that he kind of knew a little bit. And that is what, makes it feel very lived in, right? What and I think like Wyatt Russell plays that so well as being just the weird stoner dude. He's probably my favorite character of the movie. He's got all the Twilight Zone tapes, which there's a Twilight Zone episode that's called A Stop at Willoughby, where it's about like a character who's like trying to like recapture his past. So, he's kind of, stuck in the past trying to relive what
That's awesome.
He went through. Yeah.
That's a super awesome detail. Yeah. He must be a big fan of the show. So that is super cool. Also too, I mean, somebody in the cast we just haven't talked about a ton. I mean, Zoe Deutsch, shows up like an hour in.
Well, she's a little scene at the beginning, and then it is literally like the hour 10 mark where she finally comes back around.
And then she's there for basically the rest of the movie, I feel like. So her usage was high at the end, which I did like. And yeah, it kind of just threw in like a one more party scene, but it's the theater nerds this time. So kind of at least a different dynamic where they're kind of the fish out of the water at a party in a scenario, which is kind of the opposite the entire movie, which is fun. But I thought their relationship was decent. I mean, again, it is hindered by the inclusion of the protagonist. I mean, he's the antagonist in real life, but Blake Jenner. And like I was saying before, it feels like this was set up. This could have been a mini series or something with more episodes with these characters, because I thought their connection was pretty solid. Just obviously they kind of connect over, just both being super passionate about their careers, and it seems a little bit deeper than just Lost and stuff. But at the same time, this movie, I mean, it's in the title. It's definitely just about sex and trying to chase women. So I like that at least kind of the messaging was more like, oh, they found a connection at least, through this crazy college experience.
I mean, obviously it's named after the Van Halen song that is like used in the trailer and used in the movie and is, talking about sex, sure. But like, I see it as, everybody wants something. Everybody wants their thing. Everybody wants a piece of whatever it is. Everybody wants to be on the team. Everybody wants to find their niche, their freedom. And I think the core idea of this movie, setting it on the first day of college, it's about how you go off to college and you're presented with an entire new world, an entire new life of possibilities. You can become anybody. You've got the punk friend who shows up and it's like, hey, I played high school baseball with this kid 6 months ago and he was normal. And now he's got insane hair and he's wearing a cut off leather jacket. And our POV character, Jake, the main character of this movie, he's presented with all these options. Obviously the rest of the crew is being chameleons, but it's like, hey, do you want to be hanging out with your roommate as the country guy with the boots on, going to the honky tonk bar? Do you want to go to do you want to go to the sound machine? Do you want to go to the punk shows? Do you want to be the artsy kid, the theater kid? And in the end, for Linklater and for a lot of these guys who are in this movie, that is the route that they took. They started out as athletes, but then there was the call of the arts that was kind of, coming for them. And that's kind of what you see with Blake Jenner talking about the Sisyphus story and the essay he wrote. And he, obviously it's maybe a little dumb to just be like a woman that he's interested in is able to pull him into this world. But it is really about like, you go to college and you can become any person. You can find a new life to experience yourself. And all these presentations are there. The opening weekend, who knows what Jake is going to experience. And maybe he's going to become a filmmaker like Linklater ended up doing because he, had a heart condition and he couldn't keep playing baseball.
True. I mean, he's got the intelligence. I feel like this character, I feel like it is a POV of Linklater with a lot of things. Like you said, too, I mean, just him drawn to like the theater girl, I think is a fun twist on maybe his life in general. But I do think, especially too, like when they're at the punk rock concert, just to relate with what you were saying of, Jake, he's talking about how he's having an identity crisis, kind of like you were saying of they were in the sound machine, one night, the next night they're
doing
at the country
disco,
bar.
dancing around, grinding on women. And next we put on the boots and the cowboy hats.
Yeah, and they're doing Cotton Eye Joe, which I didn't know how to dance to it, but thanks to this movie, I do. And then, the next day they're at this punk concert, in the mob, pushing each other around. So, like you said, I think it is a really good just showing of kind of what college can be for a lot of people. Like you said, just kind of explore every avenue you want and really just choose, kind of who you want to be and the direction you want to take. So I do like that take on the title. But what about the double exclamation point? I want to bring that.
Well, that's from the song as well. It's
okay.
You gotta have 2 exclamation points.
Weird. Just give it 1.
Thanks for listening to the episode. You can follow the rest of our happenings over here at Kody and Korbin Have a Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at KHAP Podcasts, KHAPODCAST. Please follow us on Spotify, give us a rating, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow along for more.
It's that thing though, like I'm sure you think there's times when you're like in college where you like look around and you're like, how did I end up here and with this group of people who are strange and maybe not, they're strange to me. They're different from what, my, touch point is. It's a different group of people. And that's such a uniquely college thing where it's like the night begins one way and then suddenly you're at some house party with a bunch of people you don't know that are all listening to fucking country music and got their chaw on, or who knows what they're doing. Like I had those like strange experiences where it's the night can take you in a lot of different directions, and I think that is uniquely college. Like I don't see myself getting into those scenarios as much anymore, but it is relatable in that way. There's fun moments like that. They're making jungle juice. There's stuff that harkens back to college for us. I feel like.
Oh yeah, they're throwing house parties. They're doing anything and everything. I feel like so. Like they just drink and party so many different ways. Like we were saying, I feel like in some aspect it has to be relatable to you. If you've had kind of the college experience, so I think that is part of it. That makes it great. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like altogether too, there are some flaws for this movie for me. Like it's not a perfect, 5-star. I don't know. Like between this and going back to comparing it to Dazed and Confused, I don't know. I think I do like Dazed and Confused maybe a little bit more. And that is maybe because like the soundtrack is just utilized a little bit more in Dazed and Confused. I think the opening song here is pretty iconic, obviously, of My Sharona. Like that stacks up with any other opening song. But I feel like after that, it doesn't have too many memorable, needle drops compared to, obviously Dazed and Confused, which is a masterpiece. It's hard to compare stuff to it. But yeah, I thought that aspect of it was not as strong as his previous work.
I really like the soundtrack. I think it is something that Linklater just does really well. I think sonically he ties his films together with soundtracks in a really interesting way. I listened to an interview where he said, like, your life doesn't have a score. So scoring a movie sometimes like that, you're forcing something onto the audience that isn't real, where you can use, actual songs from the time period. And that harkens back to, the real, it sets you in the real place and time very specifically. And, maybe that's an easy thing. We talked about it with like Guardians of the Galaxy, where maybe it's cheap. You play a couple songs and you elicit a certain emotion out. He does a great job of picking and selecting the music. And that's what makes Dazed and Confused so great. But this stuff as well is like all late 70s, 1980 songs. This is, being set in 1980. It's not really an 80s movie. It's a movie about like the end of the 70s and like a turning point and a change. And, Reagan gets elected, 3 months later, after the time period, this stuff. And America is changing in an interesting way. But like My Sharona, as you mentioned, Rapper's Delight, the Sugar Hill Gang that they all sing in the car. I think that's a lot of fun. That's a good needle drop.
Bang, bang, a boogie to the boogie, say don't jump the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie, let's rock. You don't stop, rock the rhythm that'll make your body rock. Now so far you've heard my voice, but I brought 2 friends along. And next on the mic is my man Roke. Come on, Roke, sing that song. Check it out, I'm the CASN, the OVA, and the rest is FLY. You see, I go by the code of the doctor of the mix, and these reasons I'll tell you why. You see, I'm 6'1", and I'm tons of fun, and I dress to a T. You see, I got more clothes than Muhammad Ali, and I dress so viciously. I got bodyguards, I got 2 big cars, that definitely ain't the way. Tell me, Dale. I got a Lincoln Continental and a sunroof Cadillac. So after school, I take a dip in a pool, which is really on the wall. I got a color TV so I can see the Knicks play basketball. Let me tell you about checkbooks, credit cards, more money than a sucker could ever spend. But I wouldn't give a sucker or a bum from the rugger none a dime till I made it again. Everybody go hotel, motel, what you gonna do today?
Yeah, that's a standout scene.
We want the funk. Bow. We want the funk. Tell me that's not a banger. Heart of Glass by Blondie. That rock. Punk Gilligan's Island theme song.
That's fun.
Goes so hard. Whip It. By Devo. Come on. No?
Yeah.
Not into that. Pop music. Pop music.
I feel like it just peaks early. Like the first three you mentioned were all the best ones for me, but still solid altogether.
Let the Good Times Roll, of course, over the credits to
Classic.
end things off. He wanted to get I Want to Be Your Lover by Prince in the soundtrack, but Prince said no.
Wow. See, that would have taken it to the next level, I think. Sprinkle a little Prince in, and it might be perfect. But yeah, that is tough. I wonder why he didn't want that inclusion.
He died, like in 2016, right around the time of the release of this movie. So obviously there was in the production, maybe it was a little harder to get a hold of him. But Linklater said it was because Prince was very Christian at the end, of his life, and the sex and drugs and that he didn't
everything
want
in this movie
associated, which I think is funny. I wanted to mention I watched this movie on YouTube for free.
Oh wow! Okay,
but it was edited for content, so every fuck and a few other words was cut out, so it would just drop out. So I did miss a lot because there's a lot of language. Wow. I will say, a little unfortunate. We don't like censorship like that, but I also was too cheap to pay $3.99 and not watch the free YouTube ad.
I did. I watched it on Tubi for free. So shout out.
Oh
Tubi.
Shit! I should have done that.
But yeah, I feel like the language, it's definitely, it's not as absurd of something like, The Wolf of Wall Street, where it's like F-bombs every minute, but, it's just college kids, so it's going to slip in every now and again. And I feel like especially Linklater does a good job of not over-including it, because I feel like in a movie like this, especially with, he could have just had the younger characters just, saying the F-bomb every other word. But again, I think he keeps it realistic. That is maybe my favorite part about the dialogue. Is like I said, I feel like I just get thrown into this movie and you get lost in it a little bit because you just feel like you're there with these people, which is really fun.
There's 161 uses of the F word, so I will say that.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot.
And it does also it bleeped out like. I'll bleep that out there as well, so nobody will know what I just said. But it is funny the things that were edited. There is a sex montage in this movie, but it's not really explicit. Linklater not really a very sexual filmmaker. Not a lot of examples of that across his work. There's love and romance, but he really doesn't show that on screen usually. So this is kind of a rarity for him.
Yeah, he does have a full montage to it. But yeah, especially compared to Dazed and Confused again, there's no graphic stuff in that. I feel like it is pretty respectfully done. So again, kind of I feel like if it was done maybe differently, again, the characters could come off just a lot more unlikable. So I think that aspect of it too was strong.
They have him stay over at Zoe Deutsch's house, and then we cut to the morning, and he's just asleep on top of her covers, fully clothed, with no blanket. Like, what happened? Like, where was she sleeping? Why is he just asleep, like passed out,
Well, my
still
understanding,
rocking the jeans?
well, because we just cut to them at like 6 in the morning and they're just hanging out in the river. So my understanding was like, oh, they just like stayed up all night and then they just came back before classes and took a shower, I guess. And then, yeah, I don't know, he's just laying there waiting. But yeah, I mean, I thought that aspect was funny too, of like they're all showing up to the first day of classes like on no sleep and they're like just like sleeping in class, which again is probably just a little bit of
Final
commentary on
shots.
well, yeah, that too. But I think it's commentary of just like, because they feel like they're the big men on campus. They're like, oh, the football team sucks. We're the only decent squad. So they think they're kind of over and above the law of the classes and stuff, which I think is just another funny commentary, which is so true. I feel like with athletes in college, but I feel like a weird place to end the movie of them just being like, it's going to be a great year, or then just literally falling asleep in class. Kind of random, I feel like.
Well, and I love that because the professor walks in and he's like, "Who's this freak?" And then he just writes, "Frontiers are where you find them" on the board, which maybe that's a little bit too much of a thematic on the nose, final little bit to hit you with, but not super serious about the actual schoolwork, I would say.
Shocking. But yeah, that was a great line too. That catcher, man. Yeah, I feel like the one-liners, because he's the dumb character, but I thought like his one-liners were effective. That was one of my favorite ones. Where he's like, "Who's this clown?" who just walked in. It's like, I think that might be the teacher, man. Just kind of like the dry wit, responding to some of these idiots. It's done really well.
We can maybe hit every character just real quick. So Tyler Hoechlin plays McReynolds, like you said, big lefty. He's got the baseball swing, and he was a college baseball player when he's swinging the axe. That's great. I do love all the scenes of him, showing off the leadership. Voluntary practice means it's not, voluntary. We're all showing up there. Doesn't want to shake the pitcher's hand. He's good stuff.
Yeah, I think he's a standout.
The mustache.
The stash is electric, and yeah, just the swing is pure. I do love his performance.
He was not in the 5th season of Teen Wolf so that he could be in this movie. So
wow, that was a great choice. Haven't seen any Teen Wolf, but I think you made the right call.
Tanner Kalina as Brumley, like you said, a real U energy here with the stash at the very least.
Yeah, I like his vibes a lot. Just a positive kid. He's got the natural kind of athletic gifts, but still down to earth and just really likable, I think. But again, I don't think the kid has done any other acting. So real, very good pull there, just out of nowhere. I feel like for Linklater.
He reminds me of that guy that's in White Lotus and was in like the new Smile movie. Lucas Gage. He reminds me of Lucas Gage. You know what I'm talking
about? Yeah. They actually do kind of look similar. Maybe he just like changed his actor name or something. It's possible.
Maybe Lucas Gage stole his energy and his life force, and that's why we've never seen him again. I just funny, listen, I got a little bit of a facial hair on my face, but when I was a freshman, if I tried to grow a mustache, that's exactly what it would fucking look like with the creepy blonde hair. So good energy there. What was the last thing Tanner Kalina? Apparently, he's now an evangelist. He goes around preaching the word of God. Author, speaker. He wrote a book called Aching for Greatness.
Shout out. We could probably get him on the pod.
I might need to dig a little deeper on what he's actually preaching about before I say shout out. But he was in a TV show called James the Less. It's about a guy, finding religion. It seems like maybe he made it, but he created 5 episodes. Yeah. Okay.
That'd have been biographical a little bit.
So he took a turn to the religious route. So maybe this movie he's even shunned himself.
Probably. That's unfortunate.
He was also a baseball player, I think, as well.
I would think so.
That explains
I would guess
where,
that.
Yeah. He went to Angelo State University. Pull up some stats. In the year 2013, he hit 258.
All right. I mean, that's not terrible. It's not great, to be fair, but I feel like, yeah, he's probably one of the lesser actors of the bunch, I would say. So it makes sense that he's got the baseball gifts.
He is a super utility, though, self-described. So there you go. We love super utilities.
Swiss Army knife, baby. Love it.
Next, a guy we have not mentioned at all, Coma, played by Forrest Vickery.
Yeah.
I really actually like this character. Again, I would, maybe say I could get this nickname. I love a good sleep. He's always falling asleep. I love the scene where he gets into it with Jay Niles at the bar where they're beefing. That's probably the highlight for me.
I like the beginning too, yeah, where he's sleeping at like the team meeting and coach is like, "Wake up, Coma." Like it's just a common thing that he has to say all the time. But yeah, he was one of the few who actually didn't put up with Jay Niles shit. And yeah, that scene at the disco bar, and it is a little bit cringy, I think, that Jay Niles scene of him just freaking out about this screwdriver with a pinch of lime, I believe is kind of right the reason he's freaking out. But
well, he goes, "I need to order a man's drink," and then he gets up there and he goes, "Give me a screwdriver," which is incredible. I would order a screwdriver as well, so I'll respect there. But then when he drops the lime in because the bartender is not taking his shit, he is very offended. Which, lime and a screwdriver, not great, but
I mean, who cares? It's also free drinks. So, yeah, fuck Jay Niles. But I thought Como was fun. Another scene too that I liked from him was at the scrimmage when he couldn't find, like his lucky helmet and he's freaking out. And then he goes up without his lucky helmet and he gets a hit. So I feel like, again, just kind of some fun commentary on baseball. And he was like, I feel like he gave off like the dad vibes of the group. Like he kind of
handlebar mustache.
Yeah, the stash helps, but I did like his presence on the team too. Just a kind of wily vet.
As a basketball player, did you have any superstitions? I feel like it's a real baseball thing, especially.
Yeah. I mean, you have like the free throw, you got to do the same free throw, routine every time. And, we got to do the same routine before every game, the run out and everything. So there's definitely a lot to it. Or you got to stand in the same spots for like the national anthem, stupid stuff like that. So there was definitely, I think it's a part of a lot of sports for sure.
Yeah, I think like when I was younger, maybe I would be like, "Oh, I have to wear these socks." Like, I would never do the not wash them thing because that really grossed me out. But it's like, oh, these ones are working. I need to wear them next time.
Shout out to Danny Hurley, the coach for UConn. He wears the same suit basically every game for the whole season. So at the end of the season, it was basically deteriorated.
A lot of games there, yeah.
So that's commitment, but I don't know if a lot of people go that far, but it's definitely alive in most sports, I would think.
I was definitely not good enough to be having superstitions. You can't be shitty and have superstitions. I'll say that. Next up is Roper, another guy we haven't really talked about, Ryan Guzman. He was in Step Up before this. He was kind of one of the few people that kind of was a little bit of a star heading into this, like Tyler Hoechlin. I think he's okay. I don't really think he's done a lot since either, but he's one of the first guys we see. He accosts him early in the house, again, over your shoulder in your background right now.
Yeah, he's okay. I feel like he's always paired up with McReynolds, Hoechlin's character. So he's a little bit forgettable just because of that. But like you said, I mean, he's in, especially early on in the movie, he's in it a ton. And he's a ton of dialogue, with the freshmen, just, kind of messing with them, kind of giving them advice at the same time. Yeah, a little bit forgettable. Definitely probably in my, lower tier of the characters on the team.
He did have the dance background, and obviously there's a lot of great dancing in this movie.
That's true.
Yeah. The cast took dance lessons to be able to pull off his moves. Glen Powell, especially at the disco, I think is my favorite.
Yeah, the disco scene, Roper at the disco scene is pretty great too. I think he's the one doing like the claws with the ladies. So I do like that scene a lot.
Apparently, a main role on the TV show 911, as well as 911 Lone Star and
there you go
911 Nashville.
Must be like the main guy. He's in all of them, but yeah, I've seen the ads for that show. It looks interesting, but I don't know anybody who watches it, but it probably gets good ratings. So shout out to 911.
50 million people.
And they're all they're all over the age of 60. I would think. Shout out boomers if you're listening.
Nesbitt, Austin Emilio, great face. Like you said, he's really good in Hitman as kind of a sleazeball. Reminds me of a McConaughey. Is just one of those guys where it's like, doesn't look like a manicured movie star. He's just like a real dude that is fun to see on screen.
Yeah, he looks like an everyman. He's got that Willem face where, he kind of looks like a frog, I feel like. And in this, I think he is really good. Obviously, like I said before, I mean, Linklater went on to use him again in decent roles. And I think, actor wise, he's one of the stronger performances in the movie. He is just so memorable and so weird and so zany. The one scene I like too that's just weird of him is when I think it is Roper actually too. Him and Roper take over Jake's room and he's looking at his album collection and he just takes one of the albums and then he decides he has like this really strange dialogue with Blake Jenner. So I think it's just like it's almost like a car crash that you can't look away from. Like it's so weird, but at the same time it's super entertaining. So I think that he is for sure a standout.
And of course, Jake played by Blake Jenner. We've talked about him heavily. He's a little just kind of boring as the main character. He is the least interesting probably of these guys because he is kind of the most regular.
Yeah, I'd call him Mary Sue. Oh, he gets the girl right away. He doesn't even have to do anything. Oh, he's super smart. Oh, he catches on to all the games that they're playing. He beats the star in ping pong. A little bit too much good for this guy specifically too. So, yeah, we need some depth here, man. This guy's too nice. He's too great.
And then his buddy plumber Temple Baker, the catcher guy, just
Love him.
The real bro of the group. Like the way I feel like I knew so many guys like that, especially, and the way he talks is so specific, and just the look is incredible.
It's like the Patrick Star of the group. You always need one, but yeah, he's just a tag along. You carry him along, and he's just entertaining on his own. So I love his intro too. Of like when they're at the Fox, he's just already hammered, and when Coach introduces him, he can barely even stand up. He's kind of falling over. So yeah, really lovable. And again, he has that face too, where it's just like he looks like a really normal guy. So I think he is just perfectly cast for that role.
Then Jay Niles, of course, we talked about Justin Street, the fastball. It is also funny because like, even though he ends up proving that he can pitch, just that idea of like the guy who's like, oh yeah, I could throw 95, like, that's talking so much shit. And you're like, this, no shot. And, sometimes he proves you wrong. And this guy is actually a baller. But at the same time, you meet plenty of people who are like that. Oh yeah, when I played in high school, like I was so good. So he kind of represents two things at once, which I think is fun. And then he is kind of like a psycho, like Chris Sale type, where it's like, I'm going to beat myself over the head with a baseball if things go wrong. I'm going to cut up a jersey.
I mean, he tries to fight everything. He fights a fence. He fights bartenders, fights his own teammates. So it's constant. But yeah, again, I feel like this is definitely a character that has a lot of reality to it. I feel like if you've ever played sports, there's definitely just people that you meet and teammates that you have where it's just like, they literally just talk about themselves and kind of, their plays and what they're good at. So definitely something I think that I relate to in general. But yeah, this guy is crazy. Fun to watch at times, but also I think it adds a little bit of cringe. I think for me, like kind of cringe comedy like that is always going to bring down my rating a little bit. So even though the performance is good, maybe just another little negative for me of just his storyline overall.
Then Wyatt Russell is Willoughby, who we have, again, talked about a lot. The Twilight Zone stuff is great. My favorite moment, though, is when he's hitting the bong and he's talking about how he's a river rat. He's got swimmer's lungs. I lived on 2 rivers.
River rat is amazing.
And I knew you would love that as a rat yourself, Kody.
True. Region rat, baby. Relatable. But yeah, river rat's a great line. That is one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the bong
talking Pink Floyd hitting the bong.
Yeah. Saying, I know I haven't been here long, but I think that's a school record. Just so quotable. And yeah, Wyatt, he disappears into this role. I think it's not really similar. He did another movie around this time period of 22 Jump Street. I guess that's probably a lot later, maybe like 2018. But I feel like, roles like that, and he does play a football player.
2 years before, 2014.
Okay. Yeah. So I think he was maybe in the niche of sports movies like this, but because his performances were so good in this, like he kind of elevated himself to a serious actor. So yeah, I really do love him in this flick. Wish, like I said earlier, he was in it just a little bit more.
Yeah. He's not just a one-note Nepo baby. He does have some interesting layers to him, and he's probably my favorite character in the movie. outside of a guy we have somehow not mentioned at all, and that's Dale Douglas, J. Quentin Johnson.
True. We've not talked about him.
The thing I love about him is he's kind of just like the nicest one. He's the one that, hey, like, I know I'm older than you, Jake, but like, I'm gonna take you under my wing and kind of explain how things are to you. When they go to the bar, they're kind of hunting for women together. So I think he just has a really great dynamic with all the characters. Like, he gets along with everybody and isn't an asshole, and is kind of just the chill one of the group.
I agree too. He should have came up earlier because he's one of my favorite characters as well. He really does take Jake under his wing, I feel like, and show him the ropes. And I feel like he does have that vibe, like you said too, of, you know, he can kind of fit in anywhere and he's boys with everybody. And the fact too, like, he's the sophomore helping out all of the freshmen. Like, he's the cool sophomore being like, yeah, most of these guys, you know, they actually want you to fail. Like, you gotta just focus up on you and kind of, you know, put those blinders on of what other people are saying. So I feel like he was giving good advice. And yeah, like, if I feel like he's somebody that I would be boys with, like, instantly, just from his vibes. So I thought his performance was great too. I feel like he's not really in much else either, which is, I feel like, a bit of an atrocity. And he's got a great name too, J. Quentin Johnson. I mean, no notes on that. That's a great actor name, but I wish that he did pop up in more.
He is a musician, I believe, so I think that's kind of the thing that he mostly focuses on. And I think maybe was in Hamilton at one point, like actively in
makes
one of
sense.
the later renditions of it. So like he's working for sure, which is cool.
I feel like he doesn't have much singing moments. I mean, he's probably singing Cotton Eye Joe, which I kind of tuned out. But the car scene, actually, he does have a singing scene, so I guess that does count. Um, I wish there was more stuff like that though, just like, you know, Finn and the boys in the backseat vibing. Like, that is a pretty long scene, to be fair. It's probably, they run the music for a good probably minute and a half, 2 minutes, and I love that. Just throw a little bit more of that in, I think, and that would elevate it for me for sure.
Glenn Powell, our Star Fox, playing Finn again. It's interesting the career he's taken on. We haven't mentioned that him and Zoe Deutsch would go on to be in Set It Up together as well. But like, that's also a great movie. He can do a lot. Like, he can be the fun supporting actor in a movie like this. He can lead a rom-com. He can, you know, be a hitman and dress up in 1,000. True. He loves to dress up. He loves to put on a costume and a fake mustache, I'll say. So.
He really does, actually. I didn't even put that together, but yeah, I don't know which movie he does more, you know, wardrobe changes. It's probably pretty close between this and Hitman, honestly. He's changing clothes
this
a ton.
Hitman and Running Man, he's all over the place with the costumes.
I already forgot about Running Man.
This to me though is like such a better use of him than like a Running Man.
1,000%. Yeah. I hate that his career trajectory has, like, you know, he's the Tom Cruise action star. Let him be the Tom Cruise actor. You know, that Tom was on early on in his career.
Ooh, Tom Cruise in this movie.
Let him play the coach. Oh, that'd be electric. But
he could be Jay Niles. What are you talking about?
True. Put him in some makeup. Actually, he's too small though. The height thing would make it.
He
can't throw. Maybe he can't throw 95. There's no shot. He'd be the catcher. But yeah, I think this is a great use of Star Fox, whatever his name is.
Glen Powell.
Yeah, there we go, Glen Powell. I was thinking Finnegan, but yeah, for me, like I said, I think this is some of his best work, and I wish he was more of a character actor, you know, like he is in this movie. So disappointed with his career, but yeah, I mean, crazy enough. I mean, he's got a long way to go, but I mean, if he kind of continues down the path he's going, and this could end up being, like, you know, the most unique and maybe the best performance of his career. So I think that's just fun to look back, you know, 10 years later, in retrospective where we're at now. Obviously, I'm sure he'll eventually get his Oscar somehow in like 10 years. But yeah, I feel like for a guy who's not a big Glen Powell guy, this movie just makes him, you know, makes me like him a lot, and that's saying something. So
I hope he works with Linklater some more. It is interesting. He kind of was like, I'm not gonna do franchisey movies. I'm gonna be selective with the stuff I pick, and then he's in Super Mario Galaxy, just doing the Star, which did kind of feel like, oh, maybe the Running Man didn't quite do as well at the box office as we were hoping. Maybe How to Make a Killing was an absolute nothing burger. Like, you know, everybody's got to take their lumps a little bit and do the franchise thing. And yeah, I don't know. I think Star Fox, allegedly him and Donald Glover both were like, I want to be in this movie. But to me, it does feel like a calculated career decision of like, I've had some mistakes and now I got to do the paycheck gig. I wish the paycheck gig was more interesting, but if it lets him make another movie with Richard Linklater in the next 3 years, like I'm okay with that, I guess,
No, I agree with that too. I hope that he continues working with Linklater, and similar directors to that. But I don't know. I feel like at some point he's going to go run into the MCU and it's just going to be over. So.
I mean, he turned down Jurassic World, apparently.
That was a good call. I mean, that was probably
reboot.
easy call.
Could have been Jonathan Bailey, I guess.
That actually wouldn't have been terrible, but I don't know. Like again, I feel like that's a franchise he will join eventually too. It's just like a matter of time. So I think he's going to be like this. Franchises are going to be going after them because they see him as this leading man who can sell a franchise, which is fair. But it kind of just comes with a lot of shit offers. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes from here. I forgot to say, I was going to shout out Set It Up. I freaking love that movie. That as well is one of my favorite performances from him. The rom-com, obviously with Hitman too. I think he was successful in that genre. Yeah, and it's funny too, like him and Zoe Deutsch, who they do, I guess, have a little bit of interaction in this. It's not like they have like outstanding chemistry from that one scene.
She shuts him down though.
She does very quickly. But yeah, I love their dynamic and Set It Up. That may be like my favorite Netflix movie of all time. So shout out. If you've not seen that, that's my rec of the week, I think.
It's got great baseball stuff in it as well. They
True.
attending baseball shot at Yankee Stadium. So gotta love
Zoe
that.
Deutsch is a big baseball fan of that. Yeah, that is ironic.
Seems like it. And her and Linklater as well have worked together a few times. She was in his latest movie, Nouvelle Vague, which came out last year. Him working hard, releasing 2 movies in 1 year. But yeah, she was the star of that. He sticks with his people. He sticks with his people for sure.
That's what good directors do. Yeah.
Finally, the main baseball team. We get to talk Buter, played by Will Britton. Just the country bumpkin.
About him.
Love this bit of them calling him Buter. He's on the phone all the time, long distance girlfriend. I've been in a long distance relationship, but you never want to be the guy who's like every night on the phone talking away. And then he gets the pregnancy scare, which they're like, hey man, she's just testing you. It's not real. I think my favorite scene with him is actually the when Jake comes up to his room and he's like, hey, can I use the place? Like I'm trying to have sex with a girl. And he's like, just so like passive aggressive with everything he says to him, which I think is so funny.
Yeah. I think that scene is a standout too of him like, oh, it's against the rules. And then Jake's like, well, aren't you drinking and breaking on the manual?
Oh, would you look at that? That right here is a drink. Oh man.
That is beer. Wow. Yeah, his accent is funny. I mean, I think just his nickname of Buter Perkins is hilarious. Like that is a super country name, and just with his accent, it is perfect. And I love that it's just they refuse to call him. I think it's Billy Autry is his real name. So I do love that recurring bit. And yeah, the guy, I mean, he's kind of just an asshole. He kind of lightens up near the end of the movie, and I feel like on my previous watches, for some reason, I was like, oh, he never comes back. Like, I feel like maybe in my first watch, I kind of just writ him off as a character who, wasn't even going to return just because of, like, his introduction is just so negative, I feel like. So one that, the joke is funny. I wish that they got him with the ass to the face joke. I would have liked to seen that arc.
But he instantly is just like, huh, that is crazy.
He just doesn't care. On.
Yeah.
That's just like his personality is him just, saying something country and then, walking away. So kind of a boring character.
The TV show Bones does a similar bit where they have like an intern that's super country, and his name is Finn Abernathy, but one of the doctors calls him Opie because he's such a country bumpkin. So I it's a little bit of bullying, but I think it's funny.
Southern bullying, I do think has comedic elements. So yeah,
right. Maybe they deserve it a little bit.
Underrated comedy right there. Yeah, I'm on board.
The music is obviously so specific, but all the clothing as well. And of course, we get to see them, like we said, with Glen Powell in a ton of outfit changes when they're going to the disco, when they're going to the country bar. Tight clothes, short shorts, V-necks. Just, was it better times? Do you wish you could dress like this, Kody? You would love the shorts. You're a shorts man only.
I'm a big shorts guy. It was a different era. Some of the Letterboxd views that I love too is like, I wish we had more movies where men dress this slutty every scene. Because like you said, the wardrobe changes. They come quick when they come fast. But especially like just following Finn and like Jake's character specifically. I feel like they just keep losing clothes as well. They end up with just the tank top kind of at the punk concert. I feel like as we go along, there is an evolution to it as well, where it does get sluttier. So I do like the fashion behind the scenes too. Really good, makeups and costuming throughout. All the technicals I think are pretty unbeatable in this.
Before they shot this movie, they had like 3 weeks to rehearse it, and they got to like all stay on Richard Linklater's farm down in Texas, and in like a little bunkhouse that he has inside of his house. They watched movies, they rehearsed, they really became the characters. And I think you could feel that a lot. 2 movies that he shouted out was Breaking Away, which I know my brother Cade was on the podcast and told us to watch. I don't think either of us have since then, but that's the Bloomington like cycling movie set in college, like the IU one. Heavy inspiration for this. And then Animal House as well is just, another 70s, 80s, college life movie. They also like referred to him as Wikipedia, as like, if you had a question about, hey, like, what would you say like about this? Or like, did people say shit in in this time period? And he'd come in, well, actually, people started saying that, I think like in 1984, or like this song actually didn't come out until like the summer of 1981. So we can't use that. He just really has like such an in-depth knowledge about, this time period in which he came from, which I think is so funny. And clearly like he is the driving creative force here. It is all him.
And I do like movies like that too, where you really just do feel, the director has pretty much full access to do whatever they want. And this is his movie. I feel like you can really feel that throughout. So I'm happy that, he was given creative control like that. Like you said, the studio that we mentioned seems to do that a lot with a lot of their films, it seems like. So glad that he was able to make this eventually. Like you said, it kind of was a winding journey. But I think it kind of, like you said too, it was made almost at the perfect time. I think it's almost a good thing that it took a little bit longer to get made. Just because, like I was saying, like they nailed the cast in this current moment of time. Enough time had passed where you can kind of exclude some stuff that maybe isn't necessary or is a little bit outdated, especially for an era like this, where obviously this is not ultra realistic, like we were saying. There was a lot of other kind of outside factors, negativity and hate wise going around, but we don't have to worry about that in this movie. So I feel like the vibes are just immaculate just because it was made a little bit later.
It is nostalgic for a better time in America, and it's definitely like a Gen X, a nostalgia piece. But maybe this specific moment was better than 2016. I think we could probably all contend with things that were happening.
Yeah, so 2016 was kind of dope. Other than
it was dope, but it was the beginning of the
stuff.
end.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Everything I think started to go bad.
I wanted to say too, was 2016 one of the great movie years of all time? I think when we've talked about this in the past, it really doesn't come up. Just to read off a couple here. I mean, you have Moonlight, La La Land, Arrival. You have some great comic movies, Captain America: Civil War, Deadpool, which I love, The Nice Guys, Manchester by the Sea, Rogue One, Train to Busan. Like, it is just a deep, deep year. I feel like one of the better of the 2010s, in my opinion, especially like the top 5, I feel like are heavy hitters. And then you throw in stuff like this, where it's just kind of directors, making stuff that they've wanted to, just passion projects, career fulfillers and stuff like that. So I think it is an awesome year. Sing Street, Silence,
Zootopia,
Swiss Army Man, The Founder, like the depth of this year compared to, post-COVID, it is just completely different, I feel like. So shout out to 2016.
Independence Day Resurgence, Batman v Superman, Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. There's a lot of hits. You're right.
I think like the worst 3 movies,
the lowest rated movies.
I think Suicide Squad came out that year as well too. Shout out. Your Name. That's an episode that we've done. Great movie.
A couple movies we've covered. Moonlight, like you already mentioned, Arrival, Your Name. We did cover Independence Resurgence, technically. Silent Voice, also another film we covered.
Those
the
both
Double
came out
Anime
there.
2016.
Nice.
Yeah. Keanu, the
That's
cat
underrated.
movie, Jordan Peele.
We like cat movies. We're pro cat movies.
You love Train to Busan as well. So
it's so good. Yeah. I think for me personally, it's even a stronger year. I know you're not as big on like La La Land and
another video game film and Assassin's Creed.
That should have been probably the best one of all time. I mean, you got Fassbender. Very disappointed of how that ended, but it was a different time for video game movies too.
Also, War Dogs, which we covered as well. I knew there was one more that we covered.
We've covered a lot of 2016. Sausage
Yeah.
Party as well. Shout out to the studio.
Oh, Annapurna.
Yeah. Star Trek Beyond. Wow. That feels like it came out in like 2020. That's a weird 2016 release.
Hunt for the Wilder People. Taika putting in work.
before he fell off. Yeah.
The La La Land Moonlight makes it a great Oscars as well, for sure.
Iconic.
A good cat moment in this movie. The cat in the refrigerator when they're at the drama house party.
It's
he
so
opens
fast.
up the cat, opens up the fridge.
There should have been more cat moments, honestly. With all the house parties they went to only run into one cat. That is disappointing, I feel like. Maybe Texas is a little bit less cat friendly. I'm not sure.
Cats shouldn't be in fridges, which, that is accurate. That's good PSA. In the credits of the film, there is a cat wrangler that is listed. It's Bernie Tiede, which is the real life person that Jack Black plays in the Richard Linklater movie Bernie, which, if you don't know, that's like a guy who like murdered someone and put their body in a freezer. So kind of a connection there. But Linklater had a relationship with this guy. Like, he even lived at Linklater's house after he got out of prison, and strange situation, but he was listed as the cat wrangler. I think that was, more of a joke than anything.
Yeah, that's a fun credits moment.
He wasn't really wrangling the cats. According to
hopefully not
the Animal Humane Society, the cat was only in the fridge for 43 seconds, so it's all good.
He was fine in there, I'm sure. He was chilling, but yeah, cats aren't supposed to be in the fridge, to be fair. So it was good he wasn't in there for too long.
Yeah, Plummer does know that at the very least. He doesn't know a lot.
True. He's got the cat knowledge, at least. We love him.
Everybody loves Raymond. Everybody hates Chris. Everybody wants some. Is this the best everybody?
Ooh, honestly, there's a lot of good everybody content. Thinking about it, I'm a sucker for Everybody Loves Raymond. Everybody Hates Chris is probably the last in my ranking of those, although it's still decent. I do like Chris Rock. But yeah, Everybody Loves Raymond. Shout out to Brad Garrett. Just a real weirdo, and I love his comedic presence. And then the parents in that are great as well. So I might go with that number one. I don't know if that's a revelation, but this movie's great. Yeah, everybody content is pretty solid.
Forgot to mention this earlier, but not a lot of great movies with the movie in the title, like Super Mario Brothers Galaxy, the movie. I think the Lego movie might be the only one that calls itself out, where, stuff like the Angry Birds movie. If you got to put movie in the title of your film, you might be doing something wrong. The Playmobil movie,
the pizza movie. Oh, don't watch that, guys. Shout out Gaten Matarazzo. But yeah, I agree. The Disaster movie. There's a lot I feel like that you can think of, but just leave it out. Scary Movie. Scream's way better, man. Come on.
Scary Movie 6 coming this summer.
I'll probably be sad, to be fair.
We haven't talked about them getting taped to the fence. And definitely the most dangerous bit of hazing they do. You could really murder somebody.
Probably the worst, hazing in the movie. And I don't know if it was true. The scare tactic they said too is, one kid got hit in the head in the past and stuff like that. So they definitely hype it up. But at the same time, they are hitting them. It's kind of just luck. It's not hitting them in the head, I guess. A little bit of skill. Obviously, they're hitting the balls, but that's probably the darkest hazing that they have, and maybe probably the most outdated as well. That would never be allowed today, obviously.
Yeah, fun visual though. Them up against the green wall.
Great shot.
Just sticking, flinging balls at them, which is a lot of fun.
Whenever there's a duct tape shot, people just up against the wall, I feel like it's always going to be great.
In the sex scene, Glen Powell says, "I think the Astros are going to make it to the World Series this year." I did check. They lost in the NLCS to the eventual World Series champions, the Philadelphia Phillies. It was a 3-2 series. Very, good series apparently, but
they were good.
They didn't make the World Series. He was wrong. His premonition.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun character moment for him too. Like directly after sex, like that's the thing he parts out is he's thinking about the Astros. I thought was really funny, and just telling you, there's a lot of scenes like that too, where they're at parties talking to girls, and it's just like, oh, them talking about the season and how they're gonna win it.
When we're alone, all we do is talk about women, and when we're with women, all we do is talk about baseball.
But he does the same, so he's a little bit hypocritical. But yeah, also a weird era where the Astros win the NL. Like that just feels gross. In today's era. But that was probably like the only year they were, somewhat decent. They had a pretty rough history, I think, before obviously their big run, which, maybe cheated a little bit in between, but you know, they definitely had a lot more success in the AL, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously in the Nolan Ryan era. His first season was in 1980 with the Astros.
Oh, nice.
So
Prime
they got
Ryan.
him,
That helps.
but otherwise,
That guy's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, he was all right, I guess, but
He's okay. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get name dropped in us. I guess, yeah, they wouldn't have known who he is.
I think they do say I throw like Nolan Ryan or something. Like there is some reference to being
there is maybe one. Yeah. He should have made a cameo. The Nolan Express should have showed up, man.
In 1980, he pitched in 35 games, had a 3.35 ERA.
How many Ks?
200 strikeouts, though.
Yeah, that'll do it.
On the money. He was coming off seasons of 327, 341, 260, and 223. So a little bit of a down year for Nolan. Of course, this was his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th season playing of 27. Ooh. So, just right at the midpoint of his career, really kind of settling in. The next year, he was an all-star, 1.69 ERA.
Oh, my.
That's
disgusting. Probably threw a couple no-hitters. I think he's the all-time leader.
Never won a Cy Young.
Yeah, baseball doesn't make sense. Hank Aaron never won an MVP, and he's got the most homers, and well, I guess not technically, but yeah, Nolan Ryan, the most no-hitters, and I think the most Cy Youngs, or no, excuse me, never had a Cy Young, excuse me. Weird. Baseball's weird, but they never reward the best. It's unfortunate. Other than Ohtani, because he's really good, but everybody else, no recognition.
See, how many no-hitters did Nolan Ryan throw? It's like 8, right?
I think it's up there. It might even be double digits.
7 career no-hitters.
That's
3 more
impressive.
than anyone else. So
yeah, that's insane.
Definitely a Texas legend. So he probably could have gotten even more love. There is a name drop.
Yeah,
there could have been like one guy obsessed with Nolan Ryan on the team. But I guess if maybe it's a couple years later, he didn't really have the full chance to be a true Astro yet.
Yeah, true. It could have been Jay Niles, but instead, I don't know where he transferred.
Well, he was from Detroit, they said.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because Willoughby was from Cali, and he was the hard-nosed kid from Detroit.
That's the thing. Yeah, Willoughby's from the central coast of California. No wonder he's a big pothead.
Yeah. Well, I think you made that up too, to be fair.
Big players on the Tigers in 1980 were Alan Trammell, Steve Kemp. I don't know.
These are names.
Pitching wise, Pat Underwood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Jack Morris.
Okay, Jack Morris is actually a dog.
There we go.
But okay, well that would have been a good one to use, but people probably don't know him in general. But I feel like if you made this guy a transfer from somewhere else in Texas, I mean the state is fucking massive, so you can put him from anywhere. But yeah, just have him be like, I'm the next coming of Nolan Ryan. Like I feel like that would be a fun wrinkle to add in and make him more of a character, versus a caricature. But yeah, shout out to Nolan Ryan. I think final thoughts, yeah, just a really fun movie, so rewatchable too. I wanted to bring that up as well. I think this is the third time I've watched it in 3 years, and it never skips a beat. Like it's 2 hours, but it's a clean 2 hours. You don't really feel the runtime that much. Just one, yeah, I would highly recommend. And going back, you pick up more on the characters every time. So one that I do think I'll revisit honestly pretty soon again.
Yeah, I think it was only the second time I've even watched it. And it is a more recent watch for me. I think it's also just not something that I've lived with for a really long time. So I think I'll probably come to even appreciate it more over time. I love the ending as well. It does the Dazed and Confused credits sequence where you get to see everybody's faces with their character name and their.
I live for that.
in their real actor credit as well. And then if you stick around, there's a fun rap scene at the end as well. Did you watch that? Were you aware of this?
I don't think so. What is it? They're rapping?
Well, I'm rope-a-dope, a proud Cherokee. I stay busy chopping girls' cherry trees. I'll show you my buns if the booze is free. Hands on the wheel and fondue my cheese. Hey, ladies, please, pass me another. Not a rubber lover glover. I don't need no love buffer. I'ma do like Pete Ward and go undercover. Make a sister leave a brother. We gon' make a little trouble.
You're the new guy?
Dale Douglas! Flyer than a Cutlass Supreme. Southeast Texas Cherokees, we the team. Finn, me, and Como with Mac in between. Number one position players make these girls wanna scream. Waking up in a dream. Lucid, so sweet, we make you toothless. To put it plain and simple, we the cream of the crop. Cherokees are never leaving the top.
My name is Willoughby. I know the master plan. I got the sun and the stars in the palm of my hand. Carl Sagan knows the universe is eternal. I'm gonna burn this down till my brain's a kernel.
Dr. Finnegan, so Epicurean. Indulge in the BMOC. There's only one thing bigger than my IQ, and it stops around my knee. Let me drop a finnegism and make a finnegasm. Expand her universe, make a shudder and spasm. Cause when you party like a savage, speak like a poet, you chow before you even know it.
Hey guys, the name is Alex Brumley. I'm gonna break it to you fresh. All the guys around here are punching me because they know that I'm the best. It's my first days of college and I'm just trying to fit in. So won't you come with me and please be my friend? Please?
Brumley, shut the fuck up. Now I'm Nesbitt, no shame, with no game. Throwing money down the drain like no thing. The best in the gambling Nesbit's a rambling submarine pitch, and the Mac can't handle it. Cherokee chow, Kapow in Texas, with a cactus and cows. Amityville, more like Amityville. Sick to the bone, but we come with style.
So they call me Coma, told a girl hop on, throwing cheers to my boys. Cause I'm a superstitious fella known to get a little drunk, but I'm here to make some noise. Master plan for a higher man. Do it all wrong, don't fuck it up. To make it all right, drink my cup. As long as the Niles bong, hit it, bitch. I'm 95 strong, I'm the raw dog. Rawest of raw, 4 screwdrivers, 1 fat straw. Baby!
My name's Tyrone, but they call me Plum. I call the whole game, but they call me dumb. Beer for breakfast, my Captain Crunch. Spread your girl's legs, and then I have a lunch.
Well, hey, oh, hey, please to make your day. Boy, they call me Billy A. I like to chew in and spit and throw ball a little bit. Boy, you better stay out of my way.
Enough of that, Jake here, just a chill dude. I'll sweep you off your feet, no need to be crude. If I sense any question, I'll put you to the test. If it's a crime to be sexy, then you're under arrest.
You talking to me?
No, can't you see?
Well, who you talking to?
Dude, not you.
Well, okay, dude, you kinda rude. I ain't really a fan of that attitude.
As I was saying before Billy interrupted, we just having good times, baby, nothing too corrupted. If you need a little insight on who I am, let me break it down for you right now, my jam. Unlike Finn, I don't drop to the knee, cause I got a bigger secret, I drop to my feet. I'm the kind of guy that'll meet you after class, take pride in my pitching like roping his ass. Now come over here with those luscious thighs, I'll make you feel loved while Willie's getting high.
Going back to our man J. Quentin Johnson, I guess he, was playing around, put together a little beat. It's kind of Sugar Hill Gang-esque. But just as a side project, all the actors together filmed and wrote like a rap sequence where they're all rapping in character. So it's like, oh, wow. My name's Jay Niles and I'm here to say like stuff like that. And like some of them, rap better than others. And it's all something that they just like did as their own personal project. And then Linklater was like, yeah, sure, I'll throw it over the credits. Like, why not? You guys put in the work. But Glen Powell described it as wanting to do like a P.T. Anderson oneer through the set as they're like rapping, and it's a fun sequence. You'll have to go back and watch it. I think it's called like the Cherokee Chalk Call or something is the name of their rap that they do. Interesting. But all in character. Linklater was supposed to have a bit at the end where he like loses his shit on all of them. Like they filmed it and he's goes off on them, like not being serious and not watching it. And then they cut that part out because they were like, people might think you're actually an asshole, even though you are laid back. Like we don't want people to get the wrong idea.
Yeah, just showing that without context. Maybe we'd rub people the wrong way, but yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that because that just sounds like a fun like cast memory too. So I do like that a lot. Definitely, I'll have to go look that up.
The best post-credit scene of 2016. Fuck you, Civil War.
Did you know there's a post-credit scene for Super Mario Galaxy?
There's 2 post-credit scenes for Super Mario Galaxy.
I didn't stay for the last one, so I missed out. Did you see it?
You didn't see Daisy?
No. I looked it up and it was like, oh, it's Daisy. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the same thing that they did for the last one where they teased Rosalina. So I imagine
Oh,
Daisy will
gotcha.
probably be in it for like,
I tried to
5
look it up.
minutes.
There was no like pirated thing that I can find on YouTube. I was shocked. What are we doing, guys? I mean, it's like it's been out for almost what 2 weeks, and there's no 10-second clip of the end credit scene. Like, what is life?
The
I don't
little
understand.
monkey was there. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
I actually don't know his name, but yeah, he's all right. He was with
He's there, and
Daisy.
then Daisy shows up, and she's like, "I can help you out with something."
What? So she's a part of the slot machine crew, the casino. She's running the casino scenes.
I guess so.
That Daisy. I don't think that's much for a character, but maybe that monkey's related to her somehow. I don't know, actually. I don't know where that monkey's from, to be completely honest, but somewhere in Nintendo.
Before we do our draft, I do have a big stack here of physical media.
Let's go.
A little physical media corner. First off, we'll start with Bowser Jr. himself. And, listen, I bought these before we found out they're bad, but I do have 2 Safdie brother films that I know you'll appreciate. Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
Daddy Longlegs, their very first film.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I've not seen that. But Uncut Gems is obviously massive.
Criterion editions of both these films. So
shout out.
What do you think? Do you want to see more Benny Safdie acting or Benny Safdie directing?
Definitely not acting personally. Although I think he's fine as Bowser Jr., but yeah, I don't need to see him in front of the screen. I'm good.
I thought Bowser Jr. was the most inspired thing he does. Like it was a little bit different. Like
it was good.
I like him in Oppenheimer too, but take or leave.
That's just great direction, to be fair. But don't make him a leading man, please.
A bigger bum. Rosalina herself. Or sorry, Daisy. No. Daisy herself, right here in Furiosa, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh, she's Daisy. Yeah.
Sorry, no. Peach herself.
Who is Daisy? That's a good question. No,
I don't know who the cast. I mixed up my 3 women in Super Mario. I very apologize. None of them are very characterized. So yes, Anya Taylor-Joy plays Peaches. In Furiosa. I've got here on 4K.
It's a good flick. Shout out Hemsworth.
He's underrated or overrated? Will time be kind to Furiosa?
I think properly rated in my eyes. Oh. It's just okay. It's not as good as Fury Road, but it's definitely good.
Underrated in my opinion. And then we'll let the good times roll with our man Chris Pratt and
oh no,
our Mario himself. We've got a Jurassic World box set with unfortunately only 6 films, Rebirth not included, but I do have the original 6.
Why is it Jurassic World then? It should be Jurassic Park collection.
I mean, it's the ultimate collection, and the franchise name is Jurassic World apparently. But
that's sad. That's really sad. But I haven't seen the ones after Jurassic World, so I don't think those are any good. Oh, I saw the ScarJo one, but that's not really part of it, obviously. But
you're saying you haven't seen Fallen Kingdom or Dominion?
That's correct. I don't think I will ever, to be honest, unless you have a high recommendation or something of them. But
I really hate Fallen Kingdom. It does some like weird like twin shit, clone stuff. That's
nice.
Really strange.
That's fun, actually.
Then they kind of like go away from it in the 3rd movie, and they're uninterested.
Forget about it.
Yeah. And then the connection, Chris Pratt, all the way to baseball, a movie we've covered, Moneyball.
It's probably his best movie.
That and Her, I think.
Shout out Spike Jonze
for sure.
Yeah, I forget he's in
Love Moneyball. And then I got some baseball movies here. So a little Bull Durham action on DVD, widescreen.
Nice. Shout out some Nuke.
I don't really love Bull Durham, but it's okay.
Yeah, not a big fan.
Field of Dreams.
That's probably
maybe the best.
That's Costner's best baseball, I think, in my opinion. Pretty solid.
For just like the magic of baseball. Obviously, Moneyball, how can you not be romantic? But this one's really about like the magic and the history and
James Earl Jones, baby.
Politically a lot more interesting than I think people realize as well. It's kind of about like, again, a changing time in American history. And James Earl Jones, as you just said, is the king of baseball movies. He's in 3 incredible ones with Sandlot, Field of Dreams, and then this one that I have right here, which is a recent watch for me and a recent pickup. The Bingo Long Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings, which is about like a Negro League baseball team that has James Earl Jones, Billy D. Williams, and Richard Pryor in it. So a little bit of a Star Wars reunion.
Great cast.
And as well, James Earl Jones, the king of baseball.
The GOAT. I'll check that out. Great cast.
Major League, of course. Steelbook.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Serrano's locker is what we're in.
The GOAT Serrano. Oh, man, I love Serrano.
It's very bad to steal Jobu's rum.
It's true. Don't do it or you'll get hit in the head by a baseball bat.
Not good.
Yo, bartender, Joe Boone needs a refill.
And then lastly, a recent pickup for me, Bang the Drum Slowly, which this is a Robert De Niro early film. And funny enough, the game, the O Canada game they play is actually kind of based on something that comes from this movie, which is there's a fictional card game they play called Teguar, which means the exciting game without any rules. So it's that same idea of like, you get a sucker, make up a game, maybe you take some money from him, maybe you make him drink. But the lineage of baseball movies goes all the way back. This is kind of like a Lou Gehrig story.
Okay,
that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
I think I saw it a very long time ago. I didn't even remember De Niro as the main guy.
Well, I think there's also like there's a TV version maybe, and then they remade it as a movie. So who knows what you saw? But interesting one. Cool that I have this. Shout out to my brother Kate again for providing that as a Christmas present this year.
Shout out. That's awesome.
And then just to wrap things up, I got my Linklater Criterion editions as well. So
I was waiting.
Got the Dazed and Confused, got the Before trilogy,
nice
box set all together. Really, really beautiful packaging on this one. And then Boyhood, which we have not talked about much this episode. He also talks about Everybody Wants Some as like a spiritual sequel to this, as like when you end Boyhood, it's him going off to college. So like, you could see this as of what's the next step. And he obviously makes Everybody Wants Some in the aftermath of having done Boyhood. So he's kind of thinking about that character from this film as like, what's he like in college as well.
Nice. Love that. That's one I've actually never seen. But one of the more seminal ones. So that's cool as well that it's got ties to this movie.
I just recently watched a Patricia Arquette film where she has an absolutely insane accent. The new film They Will Kill You with Zazie Beetz.
Yeah.
Patricia Arquette's in.
Interesting.
Doing insane work.
That movie looks insane. I do want to see
Kissing
it.
Kate Barlow.
Shout out Holes. Always comes back to Holes.
Well, that's been our physical media corner, and now we'll move over to the 3 movie mini draft, where we are drafting video game adaptations or video game movies. I think loosely we can say it doesn't have to be maybe a direct adaptation because it's not a super wide breadth of options.
Not a lot of picks.
I think I have the first one though. Pick this week.
I think it's your pick. Go ahead.
I'll take Detective Pikachu, which I know is a movie you haven't
that's
seen,
fine.
But I think it might be one of the best ones. I actually think, as someone who's not a Pokemon person, I will say, I think it does a really cool job of bringing like Pokemon models and characters into a 3D world. It is believable CGI. It actually looks really well. And it's kind of a fun thing of like, what would a society look like where there's Pokemon living and humans living kind of side by side? So it's funny that that's the Pokemon movie that they make in the 21st century, kind of an adaptation of like a random game that literally never even came to America, and there's only like Japanese versions of that exist with Detective Pikachu. But fun property, and it's a noir story. It's a mystery. It's about fatherhood. It's about kids. I don't know.
Got Ryan Reynolds. I mean, what else do you want?
Justice Smith, not my guy, but might be the only time I like him, to be honest.
Oh wow. Shout out. I think that's a fun first pick. I mean, iconic video game, so definitely deserved. And like you said, I mean, kind of slim pickings in general. With my first pick, I mean, I assume this counts. I'm going to take Wreck-It Ralph. Which, I mean, itself is a video game. Obviously, it's definitely playing off of, I feel like, Mario Kart a little bit, but kind of throwing in, kind of Candy Crush that world altogether. I think it's just a solid Disney flick. The voice cast is great. But the story itself too, the kind of relationship between the two main characters, Penelope and Ralph, I think is is very sweet and has a good twist, a good villain, I think, for a Disney movie. And yeah, just overall a little bit underrated. So I like Fix It Felix. I'm a Wreck-It Ralph fan.
I'll take in the similar vein, not a real video game, but a movie about video games, Tron Legacy.
Nice. It's on my list.
Captures, what playing video games is like, and entering the world of video games is a fun idea throughout the Tron franchise. And obviously they made video games after the fact. So,
Yeah.
it counts, I think. So,
I played like Tron video games, so I think it's
we did a whole episode on Legacy sequels. It's fine.
It's okay. But
of video game adaptations, it's one of the better ones, I guess.
It's up there. It's solid. Good pick. I think with my second pick, I'm gonna take actually a somewhat recent movie that maybe I talk about too much, but I don't care. I'm gonna take Sonic 3. Oh, what a picture this is. Jim Carrey, dual roles. You bring in Shadow, which I think is just a fresh of breath air, at least from a Sonic character perspective, especially after just Sonic 2. It's so boring, I think. So bringing in the third one where you got Knuckles, you got Tails, you got the whole crew, but you do bring in a good bad guy as well. And then Jim Carrey just, doing his thing, and the dance sequence is iconic. So, and the action's great in space, kind of in the third act. So I think actually a very solid video game movie.
Yeah, definitely the best of the trilogy. And I know you're a huge fan of it. So
had to snag it.
I respect it. Jim Carrey in two roles.
Goat.
Things are a little bare bones when you get to your There's
a lot of bad options.
Yeah, there's a lot of Assassin's Creed's, Uncharted's, Five Nights at Freddy's.
I saw that Tom Holland said that Uncharted saved movies recently, so I don't know about that.
It wasn't Top Gun Maverick, that's for sure. it was Uncharted, him and Marky Mark. I'll take Gran Turismo.
Nice. That's a fun one.
A movie that I actually was really down on going into it and kind of surprised me as being better than I thought. It does integrate like some cool video game to real life aspects in a fun way, like the CGI and like these digital cars that kind of form around the characters. This is about a guy who is good at a video game and then gets recruited to actually drive in real life. So a strange way to adapt a video game, but if you're going to do a racing game, it's a good spin on it. And Neil Blomkamp, I don't know, dealing with IP is better than, Chappie or Elysium, I guess.
Well, I would honestly prefer him to do those weird sci-fi things, but yeah, definitely a fun movie for him. And it's kind of like F1 before F1 a little bit as well. So on David Harbour as well, underrated. Fun pick. I guess for my last one, I guess to get clarification if this counts, but would we count Ready Player One?
I was thinking about taking Free Guy. So if you want to take that piece of shit,
okay,
you can be my guest.
I don't think it's that bad. I think it's probably a solid 3-star movie. Taika, his inclusion, or is that Free Guy? I actually think so. Taika
is in Free Guy. He's not in Ready Player One.
Okay, that's what makes Free Guy really bad. But Ready Player One is solid. It's Spielberg at the very least, so you're gonna get something good. And it really does, like, the world building, I think, is solid, especially like kind of the outside world, not what's the inside called? I can't remember. The
Oasis.
The ocean. Yeah, the Oasis. There you go. The Oasis is solid. But I do like the outside world a little bit better, honestly, of kind of there's all these people stacked up and there's so many people on the planet, there's nowhere else to go other than this Oasis. So I think that concept is cool. And then, story-wise, it kind of gets lost in the sauce, I think, a little bit with, him just figuring out all these connections with the past, blah, 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 a lot of exposition. But Ben Mendelsohn is a fun villain. So, and the cast, I think, as a whole is pretty solid. So I think it's still a decent video game movie.
Yeah, it's got your boy TJ Miller in it, which is great.
Stuff.
Olivia Cook, man, she's got a scar on her face, and she's so ugly.
True. Yeah,
she can't be seen in public because she's got a little bit of a scar on her face. Still the most beautiful.
And she's really attractive still. I do like Olivia Cook. Underrated. Wish she was in more.
Well, Kody, that's been a fun 3-movie mini draft. Been a fun episode talking video games, talking baseball. Next week, it's your pick, so the ball will be in your court to follow up this double feature banger.
It'll be tough to follow, but we'll figure it out. Stay tuned.
Thanks for listening.
Stay capping.
Peace.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.